It's a 2-camera shoot. We know that much, so we can capture everything happening in the moment. We're going to want our C500s. We're going to take out the best stuff for this big national commercial spot.
That's the same caliber of commercial that we would normally get hired to do in a full day.
Yeah.
But we did the whole thing in an hour.
Founded in 1999 by Jason Burks, Retrospec Films is Oklahoma's largest turnkey production company of its kind. With a full-time team of over 20 talented individuals, a 12,000 square foot studio to create in, and a resume that spans some of the world's largest brands, if you love learning about filmmaking and storytelling, you've come to the right place. On each episode, we discuss the pursuit of creating things and the problems we solve by digging up projects from the last 20 years, giving you a glimpse behind the scenes where the magic happens. You're listening to Retrospec Films from the Archives.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on Retrospect from the Archives, our in-house podcast where we dig up projects from the past and talk about the different ways that we solved problems and hopefully created greatness. Joining me today, I have Brandon Forbes, producer, client manager, production director.
All around
one of the older,
fun guy.
One of the,
so I hear.
He's the best. Sometimes.
10 years, 11 years. I don't know how long you worked here. A while.
Yeah, 10 and a half.
10 and a half years. And Josh Garber, who is with me on set early in the morning, late in the evening.
Yep.
Doing lots of things, lighting, camera work.
In the trenches.
In the trenches.
Oh, yeah.
So today we are excited to talk about a very unique project that we did just a few months ago. It was this fall for Raising Cane's, and it was 2 pretty substantial projects back to back that have a lot of little unique details in them. So we'll just start. This was, I can't remember the exact month it was. I feel like it was October.
October sounds right.
October sounds right. So we had a shoot that started with Chance the Rapper, and then we wrapped that up in Chicago, and then we flew to Cincinnati, and we shot for Parker McCollum for the commercial that run during the CMAs.
Very similar music.
Yes.
Very similar.
Yep. Both country artists.
Yep.
Tractors.
Both drive tractors.
Horses.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah.
Low riders.
You name it, they drive them.
We're here at Michelle Clark, one of the new Chance Fund schools, and I'm about to serve these kids up some chicken fingers. Hey, this is Chance the Rapper right now. Coming over the intercom, I am your principal for the day. I got a few announcements for y'all right now. Number 1, there is no homework tonight. Secondly, there is free Raising Cane's outside in the trunk. Thank you. We gotta fit together, and looking at the struggle, we gotta live together. And not just on the holidays, we gotta get together. Another day. It's a blessing. You should volunteer with Social Works. Them help give back to the kids. Social Works is a nonprofit I started with my friends almost 10 years ago. We've been working directly with the youth of Chicago through after-school programs, summer camps, civic engagement and education around voting, and even in the mental health space. What does it say? Oh! That's a lot of zeros! Thank you, Raising Cane's. Welcome to Raising Cane's. Chances are you're getting chicken fingers, right?
What do you eat here?
Can I recommend a 3-finger combo? I think the fact that Raising Cane's was able to see Social Works and be like, we want to bring a platform to what you guys are doing is dope. You see how it's brown right here, but it's still kind of like light skin right here? That's how you know that it's perfectly toasted. Usually I get 1 toast. If I'm in the kitchen, I'm giving you 2 toasts. Hey, Todd, what up, man?
Hey, Chance, how are you, buddy?
I like the hat.
I got the hat, I got the shirt.
You're going hard. Thank you for having me.
Just been real impressed with what you've done with Social Works.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you soon.
Brandon, why don't you tell us a little bit about this one and the aspects of pre-pro and producing, et cetera, that you were a part of?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, these type of social media shoots with Cane's, essentially, they're hosting some sort of influencer, athlete, musician, artist, or some sort at a Cane's that is usually near where that person grew up. And so this was Chicago. There was a nonprofit that Chance, gives a lot towards and is actively promoting that Cane's gave towards. And so it was a little bit of, footage of Chance at a Cane's store. Like, I'm pretty sure it was right across from Wrigley Field.
It was.
Wrigley Stadium.
It was, yeah.
And then the other half was at, I think, some sort of school, elementary or junior high.
I can't remember the name of it, yeah.
And it was like kind of like a food truck type of thing. And so it was like a meet and greet, and then they were, kind of just talking about how they were going to be donating money. And so, Canes does a bunch of work on the front end of obviously getting the artists and getting all the agreements signed, and it's our job is to show up. A lot of times we provide like AV support on top of what we do. So I'm calling, AV rental companies. I need a stage. I need, mic stands, podium, speakers, all of that. This one was a little different because, some of the times it'll be like an Olympic athlete that isn't maybe as known as Chance the Rapper. So they were expecting a large crowd. So they called kind of like, hey, can you do stanchions? And so I was like, yep. So you're calling party rental places, all this, just trying to kind of figure out. And then it just so happens that it's also like in the craziest, one of the busiest sections of like downtown Chicago. And you're like, yeah. And, you can't just pull up vehicles and stop there. And so you're just kind of having to deal with like all these different like moving pieces on top of the fact that they have like a Grammy award winning artist that's like showing up to, say hi to everybody and give it out. And, they keep it under wraps, I feel like, for a pretty good amount of the time. But, by the time you guys show up, I mean, I'm not ever on these, and so I don't get to see the amount of people, but I'm pretty sure that it's just packed and just insane for you guys. I mean, you guys only film for a couple of hours, but I don't think you get to breathe very much when you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, this one, it wasn't as insane as when we did the one with Al Horford, but it was, they kind of softly announce it so that, like, at the very last minute, and there was probably a couple hundred people there, but it was definitely, I mean, it definitely does feel crazy, and it's a 1 hour long shoot, which is pretty awesome. And that one I would say specifically, like, Chance was obviously just super cool dude. He came in and did all the things. His brother showed up, so that was pretty fun.
That's cool.
He's actually in one of the edits and shot with him in the kitchen. I think that one executed pretty smooth, and that was, obviously they do a lot of these social media things, so that was, starting to become regular for us, getting used to the flow.
Yeah.
Josh, I'm kind of curious from your perspective, let's talk a little bit about just the technical side, just the nature of the cameras and what type of cameras and blah, blah, blah.
It's kind of nice. We've got a few of these under our belt, so we've kind of got a good system going as far as packing out and camera builds. So we bring the C70s with us, and we prepare for, and the R5 as well to throw on the Ronin. We get these pretty cool, establishing shots to throw in the edits, but the handheld cameras are mainly relied on. So we'll come in, we've got 2 backpacks and then a couple hard cases that we just flip open. Got about an hour, 2 hours to set up, get everything ready, because once it's go time, like there is no time to breathe. This one was a little different though. It was the first one that I feel like we had. It was still hit the ground running, but I think we had 2 hours for this one, just because we had to change locations.
Oh, you're right, we did.
Which was another aspect, though, because we had to shoot at the Canes location, and then we had to pack up, and then we had to get to the school. And again, we're still on a timer, so that was a little different in that sense as well. But I mean, it all went smooth. Granted, when we pack out, it's very like intentional about where we're putting gear, so quick to just throw it back in the bag, and then we left the cameras built out, obviously, so that helped out a ton. But I mean, it's nice having that system down. It's pretty easy. So now it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember because we roamed around the school and shot with Chance and all the kids, which was a blast, and everyone was excited, getting signatures, and he went on the school intercom and told everyone they got to like not come to school the next day. I'm not sure if that was actually like approved. But it was pretty hilarious because I could hear teachers like murmuring in the background, like, "What are they saying?
We have a test tomorrow."
Yeah, we were. Well, and that piece was really unique too, because it's awesome that Canes was. I guess I won't disclose the amount, but they were donating a pretty good amount of money to, I guess it was in the video, so yeah, it was public knowledge. But they donated, I think it was $200,000 or $100,000 to Social Works, which is Chance's nonprofit, and I thought that was incredible. Like, really cool thing for Canes to figure out ways that they can do something philanthropic and help out a nonprofit, but yet, in ways promote their brand, which is what helps them afford to be able to do that.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So we wrap that one up, and then we go straight to Cincinnati. In which we planned out a 30-second commercial with Parker McCollum.
Hey y'all, Parker McCollum here. There's one thing I love as much as writing music. minutes digging into some Raising Cane's. Whether I'm on the road or on the tractor, or on my tractor on the road, I know I'm set when I see a Raising Cane's. I don't care how many people are honking at me or yelling things like, "We love your music, Parker!" or "Get your tractor off the road, idiot!" Nothing can keep me from a box combo and extra Texas toast. They do this just for me. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
And I will say this one to me, I felt like this was really kind of a monumental feat. And I really liked it. I love challenges that are truly challenges that if you can do all the things right, you can pull off something that most people can't do. And what made this one unique is that we were shooting a 30-second commercial for the CMAs with Parker McCollum, but it's like in between tours. Like he's going from one location city to his next concert, and he has about an hour to spend with us. And he's gonna like show up, and I've got to, and it's a decently creative script. So it was like, you know, we had to do like a traffic closure and have police officers and et cetera. So I guess before I dig into it too much, Brandon, why don't you talk a little bit about the pre-pro aspects of this one, because this one obviously involves some strange things.
Yeah, it was, you know, one of those where like, you know, it's not in Oklahoma, so that just kind of puts a little bit of a wrench in things, and then it's right off the back of the other Kane shoot, and so there's travel for multiple team members in different areas. Like we flew in people that night from Tulsa, and then you guys flew in. We flew with somebody else. I think Adam flew in from somewhere else. Like it was just a lot of like getting everybody there, and then the creative involved, basically him riding on a tractor, and then you know we found out pretty quickly that he had either some sort of brand deal or sponsorship with Case Tractor, which is great, but they're not like it's not as easily found, at least in this part of Cincinnati where we were. And so it was a lot of like I ended up getting a hold of a guy after calling like 6 or 7 people. I don't even think he just owned a tractor, and it happened to be a Case, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll bring it out for however much money we paid him." And
he was stoked.
He was excited, but like I mean, I was texting him like every day leading up to it, like, "Hey, are we still good? Are we still good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got it all." Like, he took it and got it cleaned. Like he was all about it. Casting talent from agencies, you have no idea of talent you've never heard or seen before, so that kind of throws you like, I hope they show up and I hope they do a good job. Having to rent, a G&E package from a place we've never used before, don't know what their stuff is even going, if it's workable for what we do. We do things a certain way and like things a certain way, so you're just a lot of unknowns. Street closures, so I'm hiring officers and I'm calling. They're like, "No, you need to go to this county because it's right on the border." And so it's like trying to figure out what county do I hire off-duty officers from, and then have to get permits. And so it was just a lot, all for literally 1 hour.
Yeah.
They were like, it's 1 hour. And when you're dealing with somebody like Parker, he was awesome from what I hear, because I wasn't there. But he was, he's not saying you have 1 hour. It's his people. Like you have 1 hour with them. And so that is a very like true, like, yeah, you can maybe go over like by like 1 minute, but we're not talking like an hour and 10 minutes. Like you have an hour to shoot this 30-second spot that had probably 10 various scenes in it that are inside, outside, him on a tractor, cars driving, traffic. It's just like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I guess if we just get everybody there, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was also unique in that there was a lot of scenes that editing-wise he was in, but technically he wasn't in.
Yeah.
So we actually practiced a bunch of stuff ahead of time, but then we shot like scenes with the cars of the girls driving by and the guy yelling his arm, and I whip pan past the tractor, but he's not even in it, but you never know it.
Yeah.
We did some little tricks like that to save time. And Josh, why don't you describe just a little bit? I mean, it was when we actually started going, man, it was super fast paced, because we like ran out in the street and ran across the street and shot at the drive-through and shot inside and did all the camera lines and
Well, I mean, there was just so much planning that went into it. We flew in a day before we shot, and so that's when we had to go pick up the grip truck and actually go to location and scout the area and plan out, where everything was going, so that when we got there and it was time to roll, everybody knew what they were doing and where everything needed to go, so that we didn't go over an hour. And so we actually woke up the next day, and we left our hotel, and we were like, oh, here's the Canes. We didn't even look at the address, and we showed up to the wrong Canes. Yeah. And we scouted the area, and we had all the shots lined up, and we were like,
I storyboarded it.
So great. Yeah, I mean, we were ready to go, and then come to find out that was not the right Canes, so we had to go do it over again. But it worked out smooth. I mean, it was really helpful being able to have that day to plan everything out, especially with having to set lights and, you know, really make it pretty. When it came to crunch time that day, I was able to pop in there. We had the lights already, you know, planned out where they were going to go, and just helped out a ton. So,
all right, so we got Hightower joining us here. So Hightower, we're talking a little bit about this Parker McCollum shoot. You know, I'd like to get some of your perspectives on just the, you know, not necessarily like the abnormality of trying to create everything in an hour and shoot everything in an hour, but just like the how we did it. Like when you think about the gear, you think about the cameras, you reflect upon that shoot a little bit.
Yeah, I think it boils down for me, it boils down to the pack out. You know, what does that look like? How much gear do we need to take with us? This shoot being a little bit of a bigger shoot, I mean, it was a national commercial spot, so we had to bring a lot of stuff with us. And we were piggybacking off of another shoot, so we had to have extra gear with us brought along from that last shoot to move into this shoot. So just analyzing all that stuff and trying to figure out, okay, it's a 2-camera shoot. We know that much, so we can capture everything happening in the moment. We're going to want our C500s. They shoot our highest resolution, some of our best cameras, so we're going to take out the best stuff for this big national commercial spot. Now, knowing we have an hour to execute everything, doesn't matter how much gear you bring. If it's not built out and ready to go within that hour of time, you might as well have just not brought it, because there's no sense in bringing something and then having an hour and not even utilizing it. So thinking along the lines of, okay, how is everything going to get built out? Building it out the night before, having everything ready to go. So when Parker shows up, we just go, 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 go. And that's what we were able to accomplish.
And we shot mostly on Zeiss Primes, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, it was, it's a full frame lens that we have that they're just so pretty. The images that they create are just so pretty, and they're a little risky because they're fast lenses.
You open those things wide up, and
you better be ready to focus. And there's no real room to mess up the focus on this stuff. But it was one of those choices that we made. We knew we were going to need the fast lenses because we're not able to throw as much lights as we normally. I mean, we had to fly with our lights. Yeah. So, but I'm glad we did, because it was really pretty.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, I know that on the him to camera, we rolled with 2 cameras. But then even when we did the tractor driving down the street, you were shooting too, right?
Yeah, I was doubling with you. And really, I was just trying to pick up. I knew my shots were those little insert shots. Yeah. It was those little shots that we just didn't have time to go. You may have still been able to go in and get whatever, but I was shooting for absolute safety aspect and just making sure that, I mean, we had the 2 cameras, we had it ready to go, so we just sunk them up and made sure that we were shooting on the same scene. And I was doing just different things, trying to get us different little looks on the tight lenses, but we mostly went with the A cam. It's just one of those things that I'm never not gonna step in and be like, hey, you know, we need to just get, if I'm told no, don't get any extra shots, I'll step back and I'll just, you know, I'll be fine. But if there's any thought of us, you know, I'll look at you and you give me that little head nod. I'm like, yep, I'm on it. Yep. And so that was just kind of what we did there. So.
Yeah, it was, you know, in summary, I would say that you know, that spot turned out pretty funny. And it was cool how it all came together. I mean, I didn't even know when we were shooting it that it was going to run during the CMAs, so that was kind of exciting to find out later. And Parker was awesome, right? Like he was in the middle tour. His voice was a little hoarse. And, just a great guy though, and really good at just snapping right into the role and being great. Like I remember like one of the shots that made it in there, I'm actually, it's funny because I'm actually on the tractor, standing on the side, holding a bar with one hand, holding a camera with the other while he's driving. And I'm like, pretend like you see it and like, you know, get excited and nod your head. And he just like, he hammed it up, you know?
Yeah,
like,
he did.
He gave it to me in every way that I would have needed really fast. And it was awesome because I feel like that's the same caliber of commercial that we would normally get hired to do in a full day.
Yeah.
But we did the whole thing in an hour.
Right.
And then we had those couple hours without him that we got a couple pickup shots that we snuck in there.
Yeah. I want to call out your awesome Texas toast crafting.
I was gonna say.
I mean, I was over there. I was like, what is that mad scientist doing? And we were supposed to be eating lunch, and he's over here carving out a freaking...
Was that sourdough?
It was, and it made the cut. I told
man.
Jess, I said, give me some sourdough because I know sourdough will retain like structure.
There was no stencil. He just went off of what he thought Texas looked like in his head and nailed it.
It's like, I mean, Parker performed on the commercial side of things, but Jason performed, tremendously.
Professional toast carver, a toast carver.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and it made the cut.
Yeah.
It did.
So now I guess I can officially say like toast that I carved made it on national TV.
There you go.
I mean, yeah.
Not a lot of
put
people
that in your
say
resume.
that. I don't
Put
think
that
that's
in your
right.
resume.
Very few people have that.
Coming after Gordon Ramsay here.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, don't let him know. He's an angry man. Well, that wraps up this episode from the archives. Really cool spots. I'm sure we rolled them, even though I didn't cue them up very well. But the Parker McCollum stuff and Chance the Rapper stuff was such a blast. We love doing stuff with Canes. They are obviously just an incredible place to not only eat chicken fingers, but also just to work with. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you saw something that you liked, feel free to check out some of our other episodes. We have over 40 episodes of our podcast now from the archives. You can check it out on our website, retrospectfilms.com, or you can go to any of the places that you download your podcast from. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
See ya.